Last of the early games. So this is flexed out of Sunday night. 49ers at the Cowboys. The Cowboys were 1-point favorites to open. Now the 49ers are favored by 3. So who do you like in this game?
I do like the 49ers. That line moves a little. That's a lot to me, but especially where the Cowboys were favored. But I think that's probably more people discounting their win over the Bengals as they're the Bengals and not that great. Because I looked at this and thought that the line was just about right. I do like the 49ers here. I just think it's a good matchup for them. The Cowboys defense is bad, and they're especially bad against the run. They've given up the second most rushing yards to running backs this year. So the 49ers are going to be able to run all over them. Whether or not Raheem Mostert plays, we don't know about him right now because he had an ankle MRI either today or yesterday. So he's questionable. But even if he doesn't play, I like Jeff Wilson Jr. He played really well against the Patriots earlier in the year. Should be able to exploit this run defense. And then they have Jerick McKinnon and Tevin Coleman. So they have plenty of depth there that can run on Dallas. And so long as Nick Mullins doesn't make any crushing mistakes, turn the ball over, or just really give the Cowboys good field position, I think that the 49ers are going to be able to move the ball consistently, score some points, and then their defense is good, and they should be able to slow down Andy Dalton and the Cowboys offense. We saw them bottle up the Washington offense entirely, and granted, Washington's offense is worse than Dallas when everyone's fully healthy. But I think that I still think that the 49ers are the right side here, especially since Andy Dalton's coming off a strong outing in a revenge game, and he might come out for this one flat because the Cowboys don't really have playoff chances. They're technically mathematically alive, but they need a lot to go right because I believe there are like 526 different possible winning combinations for the last 3 games in the NFC East. And the Cowboys only win the division in 8 of the 500 and some odd or 256 combinations. So very low chances.
I'm glad to hear that because I had the Cowboys not to make the playoffs at like plus 340. I remember texting you about that when I was in Vegas, and I was eating pizza at Evil Pie, which is I think is like one of the best pizzerias I've ever been to. It's actually a bar, but they have great pizza. And I was looking at the lines, and it said Cowboys not to make the playoffs plus 340. I'm like, am I missing something? Like, what is going on here? Like, is it minus 340? Like, was that the correct number? So I ended up betting that pretty. I have a big bet on that, so I'm going to be happy if that happens. If they don't make the playoffs, I know they're still alive, like you said. Yeah, I like the Niners too. This is sharp movement on the Niners. I think people, like you said, kind of reading too much into that Cincinnati win. Like, not only are the Bengals terrible, but the Cowboys got 3 fumble recoveries on the first 3 drives. Like how often is that going to happen? Like if that doesn't happen, I think that's probably like a 13-10 game or something like that. I think the Cowboys got very lucky, and I think the people forget how bad they are. They got blown out by the Redskins on Thanksgiving. Like, that's how bad they are. I just don't see them competing with the Niners. I know the Niners have looked bad recently, but you kind of have to remember that they played the Redskins, who have a great defense, and they've played some other good teams recently. Most notably last week, the week before that, they played the Bills, and people thought that game was going to be close. And Buffalo won by more than they quote unquote should have. The Bills, they clobbered the Steelers the next week too. So I think people kind of forget that the 49ers are pretty decent. Like, they beat the Rams a few weeks ago. They destroyed the Patriots in New England. Although, obviously Jimmy Garoppolo and George Kittle were available in that game, but still, the Niners still have some good players. Like, they have the cornerbacks to shut down the Dallas receivers, and they should be able to run the ball, even if it's Jeff Wilson Jr., like you said. So, I'm going to be with the Sharps here. I'm going to be on the Niners. Kind of upset that we lost our line value, but I still think they should be able to win by more than a field goal in Dallas.
Yeah, I think that it's a classic example of, we lost our line value, but the line's probably more correct now than it was before. Like, this isn't like, oh, wow, we're going the opposite direction because this is far too. Yeah, I am Dr. Strange today. I love math, man. It's just what I do in my spare time. But yeah, gotta love the 49ers in this one.
You guys kind of lost me in that one. I've never seen the Avengers, so
I've seen half of them, but I'll explain later. It's too complex.
Okay, I'll take your word for it.